Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I have hit this scenario 3 different times in 3 different ways, and so I want to share with you my advice as to what to do based on my own personal experience. And that is, you set a fitness goal, you hit that goal, and you're like, woo! Now what? Now what? Now what do I do? Sometimes when you have this goal that you've been working towards for so long and you finally hit that goal, whatever it is, there's a lot of pride and sense of accomplishment, a lot of times followed by, well, now what? Now what the heck do I do? I've been working on getting here for so long and now I'm here, and you feel a bit lost. I've been in this situation in 3 different ways. I set a fitness goal, got there, and realized, I am not done yet. There is still work to be done. I have hit a fitness goal, achieved it, but realized this is not a maintainable physique and I actually needed to backpedal a bit. And 3, I had a maintenance physique goal. I wanted to put my body in, I reached it, and now this is kind of where my body hangs out. So what to do when you finally hit that goal will depend on if you've hit a maintenance phase, if you actually have a little bit more work to do than you thought you originally would have, or if you hit some kind of really intense goal like a bodybuilding goal and you know that it's not practical to stay that lean and you need to backpedal and find your maintenance. Before I get into it, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel down below if you haven't already. It would mean the absolute world to me. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram if you aren't already at Zoe Carter Lux. Okay, so you have set a fitness-related goal and you've hit it. The first step, no matter which scenario you are in, is to celebrate. You set a goal, you stayed driven, and you hit that goal. Celebrate in whatever way feels good to you. Book a photo shoot, share about it on social media, call a friend, wear that bikini to the beach finally, whatever feels good to you. Now, if you've hit that goal and you've realized, actually, there is more work to do here, my first tip would be to analyze what has worked very well for you and what hasn't worked for you, and stick with what you know works well when setting your new goal. So for example, when I first started my weight loss journey, I was 224 pounds, and the goal I set for myself was to get down to 160 pounds, which is a very good goal. So I worked and worked and worked, and I reached my goal of 160 pounds and was like, there is still more body fat to be lost here. Okay. Now, I didn't discredit the goal that I just hit. I still celebrated. I was still very, very proud of myself and the progress that I've made. But I knew there was still work to be done, so I set another goal, which was to reach 140 pounds, so 20 pounds more to go. I assessed everything that had worked well and things that didn't work and kind of made a new plan, set a new goal, and went from there. Now, once you do that and you inevitably hit that second goal, it's time to reevaluate again. Is this good and you are in maintenance phase and you're happy? Or do you need to repeat the process and set another goal, which is fine. Now, what happened to me in my situation is I was right there in that 140 range when I met a friend who had told me she competed in a bodybuilding competition. At the time, I didn't have really any knowledge on bodybuilding competitions. I didn't know that there was different divisions. I thought it was just all like really, really big muscular women. But she educated me. I found out there was the bikini division, and I was just really intrigued. I was really interested in it, and I wanted to see how far could I really take this fitness goal of mine. Could I go from being 224 pounds for years and cut all the way down to being bikini stage ready? And that became my new goal. Now, for those of you who have been following me for some amount of time, you know that I absolutely hit that goal. I got on stage, I competed. It was so much fun, and hitting that goal felt so good. I really, if you would have asked me when I was still 200 pounds, if I would ever step on stage in front of people in a sparkly bikini, I probably would have just laughed at you. There was no way. But I worked hard, I kept fitness as my main goal, and I reached that goal, and it felt so Good. So absolutely I celebrated. I took a million pictures. I posted it all over my social media. After show, I went out to dinner with friends and my husband, who also competed in that show with me. And then I was hit with an overwhelming sense of, oh my gosh, what now? What do I do now? That hit me harder than it did the first time because I knew where my body was at was not a maintenance phase. This was not a maintainable physique. I was way too lean and I needed to get to a place where I was both comfortable and healthy. I ended up being 118 pounds on stage, and I was trying to come up with a range as to what I think would be comfortable for my body to hang out at most of the year. So I ended up kind of reverse dieting, slowly increasing my calories, still going to the gym, still eating a healthy diet overall. I got to about 125, which looked pretty good, but was still practically hard for me and my body to maintain. I ended up getting into the mid 130s, and that was perfect for me. I was still confident with the way I looked. I still looked nice and fit. I felt good, and it was easy to maintain without a whole bunch of effort, meaning like I didn't feel like I was on a diet. So that means I just hit another fitness goal. So again, I was like, yay, woo, I found kind of my homeostasis. Now what? So what that looked like for me is once I realized I've hit my fitness goal, this is maintainable, I just enjoyed. I kept the amount of workouts the same. I did the type of workouts I enjoyed, and I kept the food, the macros, the types of food, everything about the same. And I just enjoyed coasting for a while, for like a year. And it was great. I had perfect balance in my life when it came to food, my health and fitness goals, social events, and it was really, really nice. But here's the thing, when you hit that maintenance phase, when you reach that goal where you're like, I am happy, and if I could just stay here for a while, that would be good. Good, enjoy that for as long as you want, but be open to the idea that at some point, even though you look and feel great, you may be ready for a new goal. Maybe that goal is to cut down a little bit more to look super shredded for summer, or maybe that goal is to bulk up a little bit and put on some more muscle. So after about a year at maintenance, I decided I want to go ahead and put on a little bit more muscle. So I ate in a slight surplus, still sticking to the macros and types of food that work for me. I increased the frequency at which I went to the gym and the intensity. I ended up putting on some more muscle, like visibly more muscle, until I felt perfectly satisfied, like, yes, hit another goal, I am good to go. Then what do? Repeat the process, celebrate, analyze what went well, what didn't go well, and figure out what that new maintenance looks like for you. So along with putting on some muscle, I did put on a tiny bit of body fat, not much. So I stayed there for a while, maintained that physique for a few months, and decided I could cut down a little bit. I cut back on my calories slightly, leaned out a little bit while holding onto that muscle, and boom, hit another fitness goal. And you guessed it, celebrated, analyzed, and maintained. I think it's good to note that you're never really done when it comes to your health and fitness goals, because even if you get to a point where you're like, okay, I've leaned out the amount I wanted to lean out, and I put on the amount of muscle I want to put on, you can't just stop. Because if you just stop going to the gym, you're not going to hold on to that muscle. If you just throw your diet out the window and just eat a bunch of garbage, you're going to put on body fat. So no matter what, you always have to put in some amount of effort to maintain the physique that you've just created for yourself. It's not like you can go to the gym, put on 20 pounds of muscle, and then never go to the gym again. So you always kind of have to work towards even just maintaining the physique that you've built that you're happy with. Another thing to note is it's okay and really expected for you to decide, okay, you know, I was happy in this maintenance phase for a while, but now I think I could do better. I could put on more muscle, or I could lean out. And it's okay to have multiple goals throughout the year and enter multiple different maintenance phases as you go. Everybody's health and fitness journey is different. Everybody's physique goals are different. I think what was hardest for me is I was always working towards a specific number or towards a specific goal, and I didn't know really how to allow myself to just enjoy all the hard work I had put in and just flow and coast in that maintenance phase. And I think a lot of it is giving ourselves permission to just enjoy what we've accomplished. My last piece of advice is within that maintenance phase, give yourself a range on the scale that you are happy with, or it could even be a range with inches around your waist or your biceps or your thighs or whatever that you're happy with. For me, the scale was just an easier way for me to kind of watch and make sure I wasn't leaning one way or the other too much. So for example, my body likes to hang out between 135 and 138 pounds. So if I am in a maintenance phase, kind of the range I will set for myself is as long as I'm around 133 to 139, 140, and I kind of give myself that range, it stops me from stressing out if one day there's a social event, I partake in some desserts, and then the next day I step on the scale and I gained half a pound. I'm not gonna freak out and go into a cut immediately. As long as I stay in the range that I allowed myself or the range that I deemed my maintenance phase, I know I am good to go. And if all of a sudden the scale starts creeping up and I hit like 140, 141, 142, something like that, then I know, okay, I've probably been overdoing a certain food group, or I've neglected my exercise routine, and that allows me to honestly take a look at the situation and see where I can do better to get that back down. Likewise, if I am on the scale and all of a sudden I start really dipping down into those like 130, 131, 132, like the really early 30s, then I can take a look and say, okay, is that because maybe I'm not eating enough? Am I not getting enough fuel in throughout the day? Am I not getting enough protein to hold on to this muscle? That way you still have some wiggle room, you still have some leeway, but you can definitely make sure that you stay on target. I hope this video was helpful for you. If you have any tips or tricks or advice you would like to share, please drop them in the comments down below. We are a community of health and fitness enthusiasts here, so please don't gatekeep anything that you think might be helpful to somebody else. You never know just how much a simple comment can impact somebody's own health and fitness journey. As always, have a fabulous rest of the day, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.